Hey there. Have you ever looked at an ancient Egyptian statue and wondered what secrets it's holding? Those silent stone figures have watched millennia pass by, and trust me, they have stories to tell. Today, we're diving deep into the world of pharaohs, gods, and hieroglyphs to uncover the hidden meanings behind these incredible works of art. It's not just about looking old and impressive at all. Every single detail, from the way they stand to the crowns they wear, is a piece of a much larger puzzle. So first things first, let's talk about posture. You've probably noticed that most Egyptian statues look a bit stiff. They're almost always shown striding forward with their left foot or sitting rigidly on a throne. This wasn't because Egyptian artists couldn't carve more natural poses. We all know they were great at what they did. This was a deliberate choice. The forward stride with the left foot advanced symbolizes action and life. Yes, it shows the pharaoh or noble moving from the mortal world into the eternal afterlife. It's a powerful statement of their divine journey. The sitting pose, on the other hand, represents stability, authority, and their eternal presence. They are calm, composed, and in complete control, even in death. It's a visual language that screams, "I am eternal and unshakable." Yeah, they give off that Sigma aura. Now, let's get up close and personal with their faces. Look at the eyes. They're often large, almond-shaped, and outlined with kohl. This wasn't just a fashion statement. Large eyes symbolized the ability to see into the afterlife and were considered a window to the soul. They were meant to be eternally watchful. And the expressions, they are almost always serene and emotionless. No big smiles, no scowls. This lack of emotion wasn't a lack of feeling, it was a depiction of divine perfection. Pharaohs and gods were considered to be above the messy, fleeting emotions of everyday human life. Their calm faces show their timeless, godlike nature, a state of being that is perfect and unchanging for all eternity. Another fascinating detail is the false beard. You've definitely seen this on pharaohs like Tutankhamun. This long, plaited beard, strapped to the chin, wasn't real facial hair. I'm sure you can tell. In fact, even female pharaohs like Hatshepsut were depicted wearing one. Why? Because the false beard was a symbol of divinity and kingship. It linked the pharaoh directly to the god Osiris, who was the ruler of the underworld, and was always shown with this distinctive beard. By wearing it, the pharaoh was essentially saying, "I am a god on earth." It was a critical piece of royal and divine regalia, a non-negotiable part of the pharaoh's public image that instantly communicated their sacred status. And what about size? In Egyptian art, size really does matter. It's a concept called hierarchical scale. The most important person in a scene is always depicted as the largest. So in a group carving, the pharaoh will tower over everyone else. His wives, his children, and especially his enemies. You'll see statues of pharaohs crushing their foes under their feet, with the enemies shown as tiny, insignificant figures. This wasn't an accurate representation of height. It was a visual representation of power and status. The bigger you were, the more important you were. It's a simple but incredibly effective way to establish social and political hierarchy without using a single word. Let's talk materials. The stone used for these statues was just as significant as the carvings themselves. Statues were meant to last for eternity, so they were carved from the most durable materials available, like granite, basalt, and diorite. These are incredibly hard stones, difficult to work with, but they ensured the pharaoh's image would endure forever. The color of the stone also held meaning. For example, statues made from black or dark gray stone, like basalt, were associated with Osiris and the fertile black soil of the Nile River, symbolizing regeneration and rebirth. Red granite could symbolize the sun god Ra, so the choice of material was a deeply symbolic act, connecting the statue to cosmic forces. Now, look at their hands. What are they holding? Often you'll see pharaohs clutching cylindrical objects. For a long time, historians were puzzled by these. Are they rolled up papyrus scrolls? Scepters? The current theory is that they are something called ancestor batons, or cylinders of power, representing the pharaoh's authority and connection to his lineage. When the hands are open and resting on the knees, it symbolizes a receptiveness to offerings from the living. Every gesture was intentional. adding another layer of meaning to the pharaoh's eternal portrait. We also have to consider the clothing and crowns. The specific headdress a pharaoh wears tells you a lot. The white crown, known as the hedjit, represented Upper Egypt, the southern part of the country. The red crown, the deshret, represented Lower Egypt, the northern delta region. When you see a pharaoh wearing the combined double crown, the pshent, it signifies their rule over a unified Egypt. This was a powerful political statement, a symbol of national unity under one divine ruler. The kilt, or shendit, worn by pharaohs also had its own symbolism, often associated with royalty and divinity from the earliest dynasties. But here's one of the biggest secrets. Many statues weren't meant to be seen by the public at all. A large number of these masterpieces were placed deep inside tombs and temples, in the darkest, most sacred chambers. They were created for the Ka, which the Egyptians believed was a person's life force or spiritual double. After death, the Ka needed a physical home to reside in, and the statue served as that vessel. It was an insurance policy for the afterlife. If the deceased's mummified body was damaged or destroyed, their Ka could inhabit the statue and continue to receive offerings of food and drink, ensuring their survival in the next world. So these beautiful works of art were, in essence, functional spiritual technology. And think about the names and titles carved all over them in hieroglyphs. These weren't just labels. To the ancient Egyptians, a name held immense power. To speak a person's name was to make them live again. By carving the pharaoh's name and titles onto his statue, they ensured that his identity would be preserved for eternity. This is also why later pharaohs would sometimes usurp the statues of their predecessors, chiseling out the original name and carving their own in its place. It was a way of literally rewriting history and absorbing the power and legacy of the previous ruler. A true act of identity theft, ancient Egyptian style. So the next time you're in a museum and you walk past an Egyptian statue, don't just see it as a silent piece of stone. See it for what it truly is, a complex and fascinating document. It's a story of power, divinity, and the eternal journey of the soul. Every chiseled line, every symbol, and every choice of material is a word in a sentence in a story that has been waiting thousands of years to be read. These statues are not just art. They are eternal messages from a civilization that believed above all else in the power of an image to conquer death itself. Thanks for joining me on this journey into the secrets of Egyptian statues. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss our next adventure into the ancient world. See you next time.